AITA for not wanting to split expenses proportional to income? I live with my boyfriend in a flat he owns. Fully paid off. His father gave it to him. The whole building was built 6 years ago and it's in a very popular area. I pay my boyfriend half of the market rate rent, which we update every year by looking how much the flats are being rented out for in the building complex, which is a lot of money, but I agreed to it. Other than this, we did everything else $5,050 in the past. I got a new job with a significant pay increase and now my boyfriend says we should start splitting expenses proportional to income, because that's fair. I told him I don't think it's fair that I should start paying for more just because I got a new job and nothing else changed. I already pay him enough rent that would get me a same-sized flat a few streets away, so it's more than fair to him. He made some, in my opinion, very weak arguments and accused me of ripping him off. That's when I told him that under no circumstances we will split expenses proportional to income. Now that I've calmed down a bit, I'm worried whether I'm in the wrong, especially since my best friend told me that this is how they do it with her boyfriend too, and my boyfriend owning the flat is irrelevant here. AITA? NTA. He's accusing you of ripping him off because he is trying to rip you off. NTA. I'd tell him you're okay splitting expenses proportional to income, but rent isn't an expense you guys have to pay, so you'll no longer be paying him rent. NTA. He was already a borderline asshole charging you full market rate, which implies a profit for him. This shows his true character and it is not good. NTA. But the math isn't mathing. So you pay him rent on a home that has no mortgage or rent, and then he pays for his half of the other bills using the rent money he receives from you. So effectively, you're most likely already paying more than half of your expenses. If you do agree to pay the bills in proportion to your income, he needs to agree to stop charging you rent. That's fair. I would agree to split actual bills based on your relative income levels only if he stops charging you rent. So insurance, taxes, utilities, etc. can be split based on income. But he doesn't get rent towards a mortgage that doesn't exist on top of that. NTA. INTA. You should have been paying him half of what he's paying for rent, which is zero. So heck yeah, don't pay more. Move out. Let this loafer go. NTA. And a few questions to consider. If you're paying him rent for something he owns, that definitely goes on top of his income and needs to be included in the calculations. Are you still earning more than him? If he wants to share expenses according to your income, you stop paying rent because the apartment is paid off. I'm guessing you'll end up paying less, right? In case that rent money is going to his parents to pay them back. You're paying for a share of the apartment. Are you on the deed? Doesn't sound like your BF thought this through. Also doesn't sound like a relationship you might want to take a closer look at. That flag may not be marinara, but those rose-tinted glasses may be less tinted than you thought, and in reality that's a shade of red flags on the horizon. NTA. He owns the unit outright. He doesn't have to pay a mortgage or rent. I could see splitting utilities, upkeep, taxes, etc. 50-50 since you both live there. But you paying 50% of the market rate for rent is just him taking your money. Does your BF work? Or are you his source of income? NTA. I'd counter with a proportional split of actual expenses, meaning rent is off the table since the apartment is paid off. Enough rent that would get me a same-sized flat a few streets away. You might want to do that if living together with your BF. With the new proposed split of bills, is going to cost you the same or more than living alone. Living together and sharing expenses should lead to saving compared to living alone. NTA. Why are you paying rent? Expenses should be $5,050 if you are living together, but honestly, I'd wonder how much of this relationship is based on him wanting your money. I think there are some fundamental questions you need to ask yourself and him. NTA. I think you should split expenses proportionally to income. But housing is not an expense. This is only fair if you stop paying him rent. AITA. Your BF is charging you rent for something he was given for free? He's fleecing you. Location flag, location flag, location flag. Well, you need to count your rent payment as an income for him. Then tell him to do the math again. NTA. In this case, NTA. The only reason being is that you are already paying rent for a place that he owns outright. Housing prices are pretty ridiculous everywhere. So it's unlikely that whatever increase the market shows is attached to any real cost increase. Especially since your BF owns the flat. The reason why people tend to split things proportional to income is if there are dramatic differences in income between partners, so that one partner isn't significantly burdened financially with zero financial flexibility. If this guy's dad just gave him a paid-off flat, it doesn't sound like he's struggling for money, and it sounds like he's just trying to nickel and dime you. And I disagree with your best friend. His owning the flat is extremely relevant here. In fact, I think it is entirely the point of the issue. If there was rent to be paid, then yeah, you probably would be in the wrong. But you are paying thousands or tens of thousands of dollars a year to your boyfriend, which is pure profit for him and is more than enough to cover whatever taxes, WA fees, or other applicable fees owning a flat might incur. If anything, I think your BF needs to explain to you why he's charging you market rate rent for a paid-off flat. What the? Did I get this right? There's communal expenses you split 50-50? And then on top of that you pay him half the average rent for a place that costs him nothing. Because he already owns it and it is fully paid off? So he makes money off of you? And now he wants you to pay even more? Look, I generally think splitting bills proportionately is the most fair system. But that's when people rent a place together, or have to pay a mortgage together. There's bills to be paid. Nobody profits off the other one. Your situation is completely different, and in your case there's no way I'd ever agree to a proportional split. NTA. Why are you paying rent to him if there is no mortgage payment or rent due? You're just giving him free money. I say this as someone who owns a house outright and has MISO living with me. They don't pay rent. I wouldn't dream of charging rent to them when I don't have to pay anything. We split property taxes twice a year and that's it. Your boyfriend is using you. He's a damn leech. NTA. Your boyfriend is a penny-pinching a-hole. Do yourself a favor and move to your own place. Let him pay his own bills. Any decent person would not use someone they love to enrich themselves. NTA. Not even a little. He owns the apartment and wanted you to pay what would be half the rent. That's not being proportional. If he only made you pay half the cost of the bills it would be fair, but he was making profit off of you. Now you make more and suddenly he wants proportional? Tell him to kick rocks. NTA. Do your boyfriend is currently profiting off you living there as the money is going straight into his pocket? If he insists on you paying rent, you need a tenancy agreement drawn up. This will reduce any arguments about proportionality payments, etc. I would strongly reconsider your relationship with this guy and moving forward. Make sure your bank account and savings remain separate from his. You don't mention how well he is earning, but as you are paying him money every month, I suspect he is doing just fine. He is taking you for a ride here. Proceed with caution.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.